Hey guys, just as a recap for those people that have not been following my work recently, the we are in a really important time period right now. This is the Jewish seventh month right here, and in this month there are, or in this fall season, there are seven fulfillments of ancient Jewish texts that have come true. So on um, August 2nd, Daniel 12:11 was fulfilled when the idol of terror was placed in the hallowed fortress, the steel beam that Obama signed, placed in the One World Trade Center. That was the first fulfillment. The second fulfillment was the 40-day period ending from August 2nd until the actual anniversary of September 11th, the 11-year anniversary of September 11th. That was the second fulfillment during the Jewish traditional 40-day period. Then we had the fulfillment of Daniel 12:12, which happened exactly on the first day of the Feast of Trumpets, which is the first day of the Jewish year. It's the Jewish New Year. That was the third fulfillment. The fourth fulfillment was Genesis 8:6 through 10, which says, after the 40 days, he waited 7 days. This lands exactly on the last day of Feast of Trumpets. And then here, Genesis 8:12, which says, and he waited yet another 7 days, lands exactly on the Feast of Atonement. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fulfillments right there. And then we have the sixth fulfillment, which is Revelation 12:4, happening exactly on the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, the seventh day, the important seventh day. And the seventh fulfillment is on the exact last day of the seventh month, the Jewish seventh month, right here. So, what I want to talk about is this right here, because there's a lot of disinformation and confusion on the internet about this. This scripture is fulfilled on October 16th, 2012, and there are many other things that we are not sure about, but this is not one of those things. There's nothing about translations or anything that could be misconstrued accurate, in a logical way. This is the only fulfillment of this, and I want to show you that, and I want to show you step by step, just because I want to eliminate confusion so that people who really want to know the truth can see the truth. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven. So this is a sign in heaven. Remember, in Genesis 1 and Job 9:9, it says, God, i.e., the Elohim, created the constellations to be used as signs. So here we have one of the Elohim's signs being presented. A woman clothed with the sun. The only way that a woman could be clothed with the sun in the heavens is if the woman is a constellation. And there are 12 constellations which God created, the Elohim created. It tells us that in Genesis 1, Job 9:9. That God created the constellations to be used for signs. And there's 12 constellations that circle the ecliptic. This is the solar system, and this is the ecliptic, where the planets revolve around the sun. When the Earth travels around the sun, it goes through these 12 constellations that are circling around the sun. And these 12 constellations can also be like a clock. And I'll just show you a graphic that I made right here which shows the 12 constellations right here. It's like a clock. It's like a grand clock that God created, that the Elohim created for us to use. So these ecliptic constellations that are outside of this circle, that circle outside of here, there's 12 of them, and they represent hours. They represent the hours of the clock. So when it tells us that a woman was clothed with the sun, here's Earth right here. From our perspective on Earth, on this date, October 11th, we can see, this is the date I'm recording it, we can see that it appears that the sun is in Virgo from our perspective. So this is what it looks like from our perspective. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Here's the moon right here. We're just going to take the atmosphere out so we can see better, and I'm going to take the artwork out as well because it's not accurate. These are her arms up here, this is her body, and these are her legs, the way that she was created by the Elohim. The moon is not only under her feet, but it's in perfect alignment with the two stars that represent her feet. So it says she's clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Well, this right here is just confirming for us that we're talking about Virgo. If we go to topastronomer.com, it says right here, the constellation Virgo contains 12 stars with known planets. So the constellation already contains 12 stars that have known planets, but this astronomer goes even further and says that there are exactly 12 stars surrounding the head of Virgo, and then he actually gives us the name of those 12 stars. So when it says a crown of 12 stars on her head, it's just confirming for us that yes, we are talking about Virgo here. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. She was pained to be delivered, just like we're pained to be raptured. We're like wanting to be raptured, some of us are. And you can see here that the sun is right at her birth canal. This line represents her birth canal. The day before, the sun is up here still in her womb, and the moon is not at her feet, it's up here. And the day after, the sun is outside, it has already been born, and the moon is way down here. So the only day that this configuration happens is October 16th. And as I said, this is stellarium. I searched through stellarium up until 2500 AD, and this configuration does not happen. And again, and I'm going to show you why, because there's a lot of confusion about this. There's a lot of elements that have to be exactly right, like the sun, Saturn, and the moon, and it has to be exactly like this. I found a configuration where the sun was, like right up in here, and I found one where the sun was right here, but none where the sun was exactly at the birth canal. And anyone who's ever given birth knows there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no vague, blurry lines. Either you're giving birth, or you're in labor, or you're not in labor. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not in labor, it's because you're still in the baby's still in the womb, or it's out of the womb. So the only way you could be in labor is if this celestial body is right on the line that represents her birth canal. And I want to show you now, I want to show you why it has to be exactly like this. Let's go a little bit further. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Anybody who's read Daniel 7, Revelation 13, and Revelation 17 knows that this is the symbolic beast that represents the one world government that rules, that eventually rules the whole planet. That's what this is. And the dragon is not the beast, but the dragon is what gives power to the beast. So if I made a little outline here, and you can go read these scriptures yourself. But I'll just show you my outline, and you can pause to read it if you want to. But it says it's either Revelation 13 or Revelation 17, it says that the dragon gave it power to the beast. So the dragon in Revelation 12 represents three things. It represents Saturn, it represents the constellation Draco, and it represents the thing that gives power to the beast. What that thing is, we don't know. Is it reptilians orbiting the planet? Is it Nibiru? There's lots of urban legends, okay? And we don't really know. But whatever it is, it's the thing that gives the power to the one world government that is going to be ruling the planet. The one world government is able to take control of the planet because of the beast for some reason. Because of the dragon. So for some reason, the dragon makes it possible for the one world government to take over. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. This right here is the constellation Draco, which happened on October 7th and 8th. It was scheduled for October 7th, but then they had an outburst during the day on the 8th. If you look at the calendar, you'll see that, the meteor shower, the Draconid meteor shower started on the night of the 7th, and then they had a big outburst on the day of the 8th. The Jewish calendar is such that their days start in the evening. So their last day of Tabernacles started on the evening of the 7th and lasted until the evening of the 8th. So that Draconid meteor shower happened exactly on the traditional last day of Tabernacles, the 7th day, which was a really important day to them. It was always the 7th day, the 7th day. The 7th thing, whether it was the 7th day or the 7th year or 7,000th year, was always really important. That's why this is really important, because it's the 7th fulfillment that we've had in this fall season of 2012. The 7th fulfillment of the 7th month. Do you see what I'm saying? This is not only the easiest one to see that yes, it is a fulfillment, but it's also the 7th fulfillment of the 7th month, only in 2012. So that was what I wanted to show there. It's also before the woman, because here's the constellation Draco over here. And it's before the woman. In the sky, it's before the woman, but it's also before the woman on the calendar. So see how it happens here? The woman's birth is right here, and the meteor shower is right here. So it's not only before her in the sky, it's before her on the calendar. And the next part, so that's the first part of it, and then it says, the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered. So that's the part that we just saw. I'm going to go ahead and start part 2 at this point right here, because then we're going to get into why Saturn has to be there and why it has to be the sun. So let me go ahead and stop this, and please continue with part 2 if you want to hear the rest.